Hello, and welcome back to the Happiness Hangout podcast, where we talk all things happiness, mindset shifts, and things I wish I could tell my younger self. My name is Katie. I am a certified life coach, content creator, and someone who is always trying to grow and learn as much as possible. Today, we are going to be talking about rejection, and I think we all feel rejection, and don't get me wrong, it sucks. But sometimes we make it mean something about us. We fear we'll get rejected, so we won't go for our things. And it really just gets in the way of us fully living our life. So today I wanted us to talk about why we feel rejection, how to reframe it, and how we can better cope with it so that you can end up where you want to end up and stop letting the fear of rejection or just rejection in general get in the way of you living your life. So first off, why we feel rejection. Understanding this really just gives us insight and also helps you realize a lot of the reasons that you're feeling the rejection and why it's hurting you so much. So I went in and did a little bit of research on rejection, why we feel it, also from an evolutionary standpoint. And the first thing I found was that it's believed to have developed as an evolutionary tool to alert humans that we're at risk of being ostracized from the tribe that we belong to. It also triggers the same part of the brain associated with physical pain, and so that is definitely one reason why we feel it so much, because our ancestors relied on acceptance for survival. So rejection still feels very threatening. Another reason we feel it too is because a loss of self-esteem. Rejection can make you feel like you're questioning your worth or your abilities, you're not good enough, maybe you're not able to do that thing. And we really make it mean something about us. It might make us feel like we're lacking something or something's wrong with us. And I know personally in the past when I would deal with rejection, whether it was a guy I really liked or a job I really wanted, it made me feel like I wasn't enough, wasn't pretty enough, wasn't smart enough. And I really let it mean something about my own worth. But learning how to cope with rejection and reframing it is so important to do. And it really allows us to stop getting in our own way. And so the first thing that you should do when coping with it is acknowledge your feelings. I know it is easier to put it away, act like you're not mad about it or that it doesn't matter, but it is so important for you to acknowledge your feelings and be like, okay, you know what? This bothered me. This kind of hurt. And whenever rejection used to happen to me, I would always end up talking about it to a friend for a while. And then I would go on this whole tangent. And after I'd be like, oh, but I don't care. But it is okay to care. It's okay for your feelings to be hurt, to feel sad or angry or just disappointed for what you thought you wanted for yourself. But the more that you suppress it, the more it will end up coming up for you later and building. So let yourself feel those feelings, journal about it, talk to a friend, cry for a second, give yourself a second to feel it so that you can move on from it. The next thing to do with coping with it is to realize that it is your ego getting involved. Our ego just wants acceptance and validation. So when we're rejected, our ego feels threatened, which can lead to us feeling hurt, shameful, or just not good enough. And as a result, rejection and our ego makes us take things personally, makes you feel afraid to feel rejected or just react impulsively. So after getting your ego hurt, remember to separate your self-worth and rejection. Remember, rejection, it does not define your overall value. And this doesn't have to mean anything about you. Focus on your goals. Be more driven by your goals and all the good that can come out than the fear of rejection. I talked about this a lot in my last couple of episodes, but your dreams should be more important than your fears. And remember to also practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Watch the words you're using with yourself and realize that every single human being has dealt with rejection in some form. After rejection, I had personally even noticed myself being harder on myself, being very black or white with thinking, saying things like, this always happens to me, or putting myself down. But in these times, it is so important for you to be empathetic with yourself. What would you tell a friend who is going through this? Catch the negative self-talk, no matter how hard it is, and realize again, everyone faces rejection. It is okay that you're feeling it, and you really have no idea how it is working out in your favor. One of the biggest things for me, too, in coping with this was reading the book, The 4 Agreements, and one of the agreements is nothing is ever that personal. I talk a lot about this book, only because it actually changed my life. But again, one of the agreements is don't take anything personally. And this comes into play a lot with rejection because naturally we want to make it mean something about us. Like, oh wow, this person didn't like me. That means X, Y, and Z is wrong with me. I didn't get this job. That means I'm not good enough. But it is never that personal. Every single one of us has our own reality, our own baggage, our own filters for how we see the world. And two people can be looking at the exact same painting and see it so differently, but that doesn't make one person's view of the painting better than the other's. And so when rejection happens, do your best to realize that it really has more to do with the other person than it has to do with you, their reality, what they're looking for, their preferences. Next, it is so important to use rejection as growth. It is never that personal, but sometimes we can still use rejection as an opportunity for you to grow. So if an interview didn't go the way you wanted it to, how can you allow this to improve for next time? How can you grow from this experience? How can you learn from this? When I started looking at every single challenge that came in my life as an opportunity to grow and learn, my whole life changed so much because I know that it's all just helping me grow, helping me become a better version of myself. And the better I become, the better my life will be and the better I will attract into my life. Next, it is also so important to realize that this rejection happening is not make or break, and what is for you will find you. It might feel so threatening when things don't work out for us or we feel like our world is falling apart, but do your best to ground yourself and realize it is not make or break. If something is meant to be in your life, it will find its way into your life. Just always put out your best intention out there and focus on what you can control. When we get rejected, we often focus on all the things we don't want to feel, what is wrong in our life, what is going wrong, but all you can do is focus on the things that are in your control. You can't control what other people are going to do if the job isn't the right fit, if the person isn't the right fit, but you are in the position you are in. So do your best to direct your energy to all that is in your control right now. Something that I also realized recently that was just like the biggest mindset shift for me, the biggest realization, is if every single thing you wanted worked out for you, how would the right things work out for you? So often we want things to work out for us that are just not meant to work out for us. And if the wrong things worked out for you, how would there be space for the right things too? I even look at people I dated that I wanted it so badly to work out with. And when I didn't, of course, I was bummed. I felt maybe rejected. But I look back now and literally I'm like, thank God that didn't work out for me because it was just not right for me. And now it makes room for the right things to work out for me. So while you might not see it in the moment, realize that the things that are not working out for you are working out for you big picture. And sometimes this universe has to take things out of your life because it knows you wouldn't have the strength to walk away from them on your own. So reflect on the things that didn't work out for you, things that didn't feel like they were working out for you at the time, and then think about how they ended up working out for you better than you thought they could in the moment. And I think that this is such a great exercise too because it really builds our faith mindset of, oh wow, at this point in my life, it felt like things weren't working out for me, but had that worked out, my life wouldn't be what it is right now, or it wouldn't allow for X, Y, and Z thing to come into my life. Lastly, I want to remind you that rejection is not a reflection of your overall value. It just means that wasn't a good fit. And if, again, the wrong things worked out for you, the right things wouldn't have room to work out for you. Rejection is a temporary setback. It's not a permanent roadblock. And often it is really just launching us to exactly where we are meant to be. Every single person deals with rejection in some form. Don't be so hard on yourself for feeling it, and know that the things that are meant to be in your life will find a way into your life. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a 5-star review. I am sending you so much love and light, and we will talk in the next episode.